Who remembers this chart when Terrarium said it was going to be on Binance US? And what's the difference between this one when Saitarealty became a momentary honeypot? My name is Mike. Welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk about Saitama and all the issues they had today with Saitarealty. So you have all the facts. Make sure you subscribe and let's try and get this video to over 50 likes. So let's take a look at the price. 10.1 is the price, down 7.94%. Hasn't really done a significant lot. It does feel like it's on a downward trend at the minute. And I think a lot of it is due to the fact that we just don't get things right. And there's a couple of issues right now that Saitamask and the Saitama team need to fix quite quickly. Let's look at the stats like we always do on this channel. 3,480,000 is the daily volume. 13.8 million in liquidity, 534 million is the market cap. Remember, obviously over on Saitamask, there is liquidity over there and there is volume going through that. So what happened? Well, what I thought was interesting, and you know I don't bash people on this, but even Classy's kind of come out and talked about this. And you know what? He's probably right. And I think he's as frustrated as a lot of Saitama holders. So what really happened? Well, when we take a look at the Saitama trading chart, we can see here about 5 a.m. my time this morning, we saw a huge rise and a pretty significant pump in terms of Saitarealty, where people were able to buy, but the problem was they weren't able to sell. Now, this was deliberate in a manner of speaking, and I'm going to tell you why in just a minute. But ultimately, this thing absolutely started to pump. No one was selling. The price kind of went insane. As you kind of go through the charts, if you go back to the very early hours, obviously the trade's kind of gone through, but you can just see it was just a wall of green touching 5095, so a 5x from its current price right now. So you can imagine people were trying to get in. And then all of a sudden, everyone was able to sell. There's certainly a suspicion that bots or whatever was able to get in, and the price absolutely tanked all the way back down, and then it's kind of continued its sideways step. So what did we get? Well, we got this tweet from the Saitama official team saying, kindly note that today, April 6, 2022 at 3 p.m. Eastern, we will have a maintenance window on Saitamask. During the scheduled maintenance, you may experience momentary lapses in operation. Service will resume approximately 1 hour later at 4 p.m. Eastern. Just reference that. During this scheduled maintenance, you may experience momentary lapse in operation. The reality was no one could sell it. This was tweeted out an hour before they changed the sell options and before they instilled maintenance, which just isn't what you do. If you've got the internet home or something's going to happen what means it can impact you or certainly financially impact you, you get more than an hour's notice. So not a great play in terms of Saitama. You know, we know their spaces, AMAs get 3, 4, 5,000 people. This has had 508 retweets, 1,000 likes. You know, surely it would have been better to have announced this yesterday or certainly announced it earlier, giving my people more time so that people didn't trade through the Saitamask. Now, the other problem we have is Mandox. Mandox opened on a V2 contract the other day. It has migrated over. They airdropped all the tokens out. You can see here that it launched the other day. Now, the problem is, currently on the Saitamask live chart, Mandox is still on the old contract. So people are still able to buy this old contract, which is pretty much worthless. So all the major exchanges have ceased trading. They got announcements from the team. They stop trading. They migrate to the new contract, airdrop their tokens out to the holders, and then start trading again. Still, as of right now, which is 2 days after the Mandox team migrated over to V2, Saitama still hasn't happened. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm not a web developer. I'm not an app developer. But what I am is an investor and a retail investor at that and a consumer of cryptocurrency. So why would they not just stop it? I don't know how difficult it is, but I would assume that they can stop it. They have liquidity in there, which will be on the old contract. So surely they could just stop it. They could cease trading. And if they don't have that, well, then there's a bigger question to ask in terms of Saitama and the Saitamask app. Because if they can't, then it's not great for an investor. So anyone right now buying Mandox on Saitamask is getting the old contract, therefore will be the old contract and pretty much worthless. Whose responsibility is it? Well, in terms of L-Bank and the major exchanges, they deal with it. So my view would be Saitamask needs to do it. That's my opinion. We are not seeing a great deal, and I think these are the things that investors are really struggling in terms of Saitama and what they are doing. And if you flip it on its head and go back to when this was super bullish and it was a lot of hype news, everyone was keen, everyone was interested, but there was no real utility that sat behind it. Do I think there's a space for Saitamask? Of course I do. Do I think they need to get it together? Absolutely. And I still don't understand why we just can't do it. Simple things like informing the community that you're going to do a scheduled maintenance. Simple things like changing the contract on Saitamask. And if anyone is an expert in that, please drop in the chat why they wouldn't have done that, because I am curious to know. Saitama need to get it together. That's the honest answer. They get some momentum and then they do something that upsets the world, or it upsets the investors, or it gives people the opportunity to poke holes and poke fun at the project. That's just my view. Like I said, I'm a long-term investor in Saitama. I'm going to hold and see what it looks like. But things like this frustrate me, where people, and again, these are retail investors like you and I, get their tokens, or certainly get their, ambition burnt, where they think they're going to get a big sell, and then all of a sudden it drops down. So people are silly when it comes to big investments of money, and when people make substantial amounts of money, people can make bad decisions. So I think wherever you are dealing with money, and let's be absolutely crystal clear on this, Saitama's dealing with a significant amount of money. I think when you check over on this Saitama app, just under $1 million, you're talking $15 million of daily volume going through it. They need to be better. Hopefully we'll get these teams on board, the Indian team that are going to come and support Max, and we can stop seeing these kind of things. But let me know in the comments down below what you think. What's it all good? And did you get burnt over that time when it was down? And I'll see you guys in the next video.